Well, hello, 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 fellow addicts. Welcome back to Addicts Live, your internet escape from the craziness in the world. I'm Alissa, your resident head addict, and I'm joined, as always, by my co-host to, I think, the north, Super Safi.
Bonjour. Greetings from Trois-Rivières, Quebec. Yeah, it's to the north,
Truly to
or
the
as they
north.
say here, oh no.
Truly to the north of me. Normally you're north and a little bit west, but now you're just straight north. Yes, the Addicts Crew is back once again to bring you Simpsons news and Saturday smiles. And as always, guys, love this reminder. Before we get into this week's show, it is time for your weekly reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel. So hit that red button so you don't miss any of the addicts. And as always, for those not watching this directly on YouTube, I will put a link to the subscribe button in the show notes below us. Now let's get on with the show, shall we, Saf?
Absolutely.
It feels like it just started, but it's already time to do the Foodie Fight wrap-up show. Now, the event was slated to leave our games next week, which technically you're watching this on a Saturday, so technically it is next week because it's supposed to leave on Wednesday the 2nd. However, because of the issues with the verification codes and logging in, EA has extended the mini event by a week, which is something very rare. They have not done this, I don't think, since like 2014. It's very rare that they extend an event for an issue. But now it'll end on June 9th, which honestly isn't that big of a deal. The extension really just takes that week away that we have of downtime between a mini event and a multi-event. So we're assuming EA stays on schedule. This won't impact the launch of the next event. Really, it'll just kind of fill in that gap. And for those who finish the event, you're not going to have anything to do anyway in that week. So it's really not a big deal for those who don't have issues. Of course, as of the recording of this episode, we know nothing about the next event in TSTO. We're just speculating, but they've been on the schedule of mini event, week off, multi-event, week off, mini event, and so on for the last year plus. So I don't see any reason why that would change at this point. And yes, the verification code logging in is a royal pain in the you-know-what, especially for those who play multiple Springfields on their devices. But it is workable. It is doable. And as I said a couple of weeks ago, the ideal thing to do is to be by another device or computer when you use your login that you can use to log into your email while your TSTO game is open. Once you request the code in your game, don't leave the screen. Otherwise, another code will likely need to be generated, and that's a really big pain in the butt. Also, if you're one of those folks that no longer have access to the email address you created TSTO with, which strikes me as odd, but if you're one of those people, you can contact EA and have them change your email address. It's a longer process, but they are able to do it. Several people have had this done, that they've commented on the site that they had this done. Try to change it to a Gmail address for TSTO if that's the case, because that's known to work with the verification code. I heard some folks say that Hotmail or Outlook are having issues getting the code in their email. I know for a fact Gmail works because that's what I use. Saf, I think you use it too, so we know that it works. And that's about it. So now that all that verification stuff and the extension is out of the way, let's really get on with the show. Foodie Fight. Saf, now that you had a chance to play through it, overall thoughts on the Foodie Fight mini event?
Overall, it was a pretty good mini event. I mean, I feel bad for those who were locked out, but I feel EA made the right move by extending the event. I mean, I've already completed the event, so I'll have an extra 2 weeks, but I mean, that would have been the case anyways, even had they not extended the event. I would have had an extra 2 weeks of downtime. So it's good that they're giving an opportunity for players who had issues getting into the game, an opportunity to unlock all the prizes. Overall, yeah, personally, I use my iCloud email actually to log in, but yeah.
So
no
iCloud
issue.
works too.
Yeah, I never had any verification issues. Fortunately, I was able to just keep playing throughout. Wasn't logged off or I had to log back in or anything. So knock on wood, everything's been going okay on my end in that regards. Overall, yeah, I thought it was an average, slightly better than average mini event, and the dialogue was excellent as always. Got two great characters, including the premium character, getting both father and son Scotty and Tyler boom was nice. Everything kind of seemed like it was really cohesive in this mini event. In past we've had some events where they've drawn from multiple episodes, and you're playing the game of trying to come up with how these things fit. But I mean, everything was really cohesive here. So overall, I was pretty happy with the mini event. How about yourself?
Yeah, I liked it. I really enjoyed it. I like barbecue, so that was a fun little theme. I like how, like I said, everything was cohesive in this. Even stuff that was from another episode still worked with this. Like you had stuff from E Pluribus Wiggum. It still worked because it's restaurant, it's food, that's the theme. So I enjoyed it. Dialogue, as always, on point. So yeah, it was a fun mini event. It wasn't the greatest mini event ever. It wasn't even the greatest mini event this year, in my opinion. But it was fun. So yeah, and anytime you get a character on a prize track, I'm all for it. Anytime that character is voiced on the prize track, even better. That notches it up another level to me. Let's talk about a little more specifics about the prizes. I know last time we talked in general terms. So we talked a lot about General Chang's Taco Italiano. We talked about the sweet and sour burrito, sweet and sour lasagna burrito. Saf, no one took us up on what's in a sweet and sour lasagna burrito. Mm-hmm. No one even dared to venture into that.
I saw a few people were not a huge fan of doing an Addicts Live where we cook, but
I think somebody said Cooking Addicts Live, and the other person read it as Cooking Addicts Live. Like they would be cooking us alive. Actually, so I think that's where that came in. But yeah, no one took us up on what's in a sweet and sour lasagna burrito. So, we'll have to play around with it. Now we've got this extra week, Saf. Maybe we can have a cooking segment on the next Addicts Live. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I don't know that I want to eat that. So we talked a lot about General Chang's Taco Italiano last episode. Let's talk more about let's kind of skip over the buildings. Let's talk about these decorations. So the hot dog maker, now that you got it, now that you have it in your town, what'd you do with it?
So I'm putting it near my slaughterhouse. I feel like it kind of fits with that. It's an average decoration. I mean, it wasn't something I was super, super excited about. If item limits ever becomes an issue for me, maybe it's one that will go into the inventory. But size-wise and decor-wise, it seems to fit with the slaughterhouse. So, and my canned meat can that's just sitting out there too. So
the horse meat one.
Yeah, the horse meat. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. How about you? Did you keep this, or is it in your inventory?
Mine's a do not. Actually, I don't even know if I stuck it in my inventory yet. I think I did, but it is a do not pass go straight to inventory item for me. I think I put it in my town to get the measurements for my post, but I don't think I actually, I have no intention of leaving it in my Springfield. It just doesn't do anything for me. Even if it was next to my slaughterhouse, it wouldn't do anything for me. I don't like things that don't do something else. Like I know you tap on it and it's got a mild animation, but I don't like stuff that doesn't do something else. So that's an inventory item for me. The Rocket Pigs. Now, this is something where the fourth prize in the prize track, I was massively wrong about this, and that's on me. It's my fault for not following my normal standard procedure when I do things. Normally, when I write a post about something, I check the files to see if there's a task at the item. I always do that, whether it's a decoration or a building. I didn't this time, so that's on me, and I corrected the post since. But originally with the Rocket Pig, Saf, what happened when you tapped on it?
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing. It was like a bummer. Such a letdown. I just threw it in my inventory.
It was straight to inventory for me, yeah.
So I discovered after a reader made a comment, I was like, wait a minute. I went back and looked, and then I looked at the files, and then I looked at the graphics, and I said, wait a minute. There's a task there. Wait a minute. That task has an animation. We're missing something. There is a hilarious task at the Rocket Pigs for Homer. I'm going to put a video of that up right now as we're talking about it. But Homer essentially lights the pigs on fire. It rains down meat, and then he makes meat angels. It's the greatest thing. Well, maybe if you're vegan, it's not, but
You don't make friends with salad. You don't make friends with salad.
it's true. It's true. Saf, what did you think? Because I sent Saf a text and I said, yeah, I was wrong. And I sent him a video of the animation. And he's like, oh no. So what do you think, Saf?
Yeah, no, it completely changed the outlook. I mean, it's these little things we talked about last event when we had the robots, the posse bots, and so forth. That these little things that they do to decorations, it just takes them up another level. So it went from inventory level to out in my Springfield level. I mean, it's unfortunate the task is with Homer. I mean, Homer has so many tasks and 4 hour tasks, but still, I mean, having a task makes it something that you could keep out in your Springfield rather than something that's a straight to inventory. So it was a really pleasant surprise. How about
Yeah.
you?
Yeah, it was really fun to see. I'm kicking myself for not catching it a few days earlier, but it's a fun animation. I did stick it in my inventory. I pulled it out because I'm like, well, now I got to find room for this because this follows my rule of it does something else. It does stink that the task is for Homer. It makes sense that it's for Homer, although it would have worked just as well if it was for Chief Wiggum or if it was for comic book guy. It doesn't really it's not something comic book guy would do, but I do see Chief Wiggum being somebody who would light pigs on fire. So it makes sense that it's for Homer, though, because it is a very Homer thing to do. But yeah, it's a fun. It like totally changed the outlook of that for me, and really changed the perspective of this event because instead of having 5 prizes, 3 of them good, 2 of them junk, it went from having that to having 4 prizes or 5 prizes, 4 of them really good, and only one of them junk. So I was really happy with that. It was very nice to see. All right, let's do some. Well, actually, you know what? Let's talk about Scotty Boom real quick because we didn't really talk much about him last episode because neither one of us had him at that point. So he is voiced, as I mentioned at the top, and we on the prize track we get a free character that's voiced for Springfield. Thoughts on that, Seth?
I mean, that's just amazing. I mean, anytime, like we said it so many times, anytime you can get a full character on the prize track, that's a great. But to get a voice one, that just adds to it. And you gotta love his dialogue and yeah, the whole storyline with him. And if you went out and got Tyler too, the storyline between father and son is awesome as well.
Yeah, yeah, and it's two mini events in a row where we've gotten a free voice character on the prize track, so that's really nice to see. I hope that trend continues. Because you've got the big 5 that voice so many characters, especially 3 of those big 5 that voice so many characters in this game or in this show that it's pretty easy to bring their voice over to the game as well. So, but yeah, his dialogue is funny. I really like the Hibbert, you back for more Jello? So it's pretty good dialogue. All right, Saf, let's jump into some good, bad, and ugly. Good.
There's a lot of good with this event. I mean, the prize track with the full character that's voice was good. I loved the premium offering of the barbecue festival in Tower Boom. The fact that you can put roads in and around the barbecue festival, having the roads inside just adds to it, so you can have people walking through it. I like that they extended the event for those people who were locked out. I don't know if I just mentioned that earlier or not. I liked what else? There's quite a few things that I liked about this. There was one in particular I was thinking about earlier when we were discussing it. Now it's escaping my mind, but overall there was a lot of positives for this event. So the dialogue, as always, was great. So I'm quite happy with the event.
Yeah. So my good Scotty Boom voiced free character on the prize track. He's fun. He's got some fun animated tasks. Questline is good. I enjoyed that. That's a more of that, please, EA. The dialogue, as always, hilarious. I really love what the writers do. I love the little insight we get into the writers. It's really funny. The Rocket Pigs, that I enjoyed that little animation with it. I think that's a nice bonus to that prize. Like I said, it took it from a meh for me. The prize track ended up being like meh to really good. So I like that a lot. Also, this is kind of like I've got two things that are a mix between my good and my bad. The premium, I did like the premium combo, but I'll talk about why it's part of my bad as well when we get to the bad. And the cash for item in this case, I enjoyed the item. I enjoyed the animation for Homer, so those for me are good. I wish it wasn't an animation for Homer. Again, it makes sense that it's an animation for Homer because it's directly from the episode. But Homer has a lot of tasks. There's only so much he can do at one time. And again, I'll explain why you kind of get a gist of why that's bad, but I'll explain more when we get to the bad. So that's kind of where I am with my good. Seth, bad.
Bad, again, it was coming up to Homer. I mean, you kind of alluded to it. I wasn't really a big fan that the animated task was for Homer for the Rocket Pigs, and likewise the premium, or not the premium, the cash for prize here was a great one, the Chili Blaster, but again, it's for Homer. So having that. And then the hot dog maker, I was a little disappointed with its just it as a decoration and how ordained it was.
Yeah.
What about you?
So my bad, hot dog maker is on my bad. That's the low point of the prize track. It's the weak link. It doesn't mean like the whole prize track was bad. It doesn't mean that I'm gonna grade the event unfavorably. Just every event I feel like has a prize that you're just like meh, okay.
It's kind of a mystery.
Yeah, and sometimes it's like a trophy, like the Robot Rumble. We got a trophy, and I'm like, what are you gonna do with this? And sometimes it's a hot dog maker. So this was a meh decoration for me, so this went to my bad. The size of the barbecue festival is just massive. It's huge. I really like it. I love how much detail is put into it, and I like that you can put roads through it. I really enjoy that, but it's just so big. So it can create a problem. And like I have to now create a whole nother area of my Springfield because it won't work where I have like my farmer's market and other tent areas. So yeah. And then when it comes to the Chili Blasters, again, like I said, another task for Homer, both the Rocket Pigs and Chili Blasters tasks for Homer. Again, there's only so much Homer can do at a time, especially when he's being like in high demand for events. Like every event involves Homer. So you really aren't going to have a lot of time to have Homer do these other tasks. But also the price point of it. $9.99, in my opinion, US, I know for other places it's more, is too much for a building with an animated task. I appreciate the fact that it's a building and it has an animated task. I really appreciate that. But $9.99 is just too much. I think this would have been better at $4.99. $9.99 is a good price point for a character. I do think $4.99 would have been better for this one. I think more people would have purchased it, in my opinion. You have any thoughts about the price point on that?
No, I agree. Absolutely. I mean, it's a great animated task. It's just hilarious. But yeah, I agree that for $9.99, I would expect like a full character as opposed to this. But again, overall, I still was happier with this than I was with Libido or Wilbur Nurple.
Yeah. All right, you're ugly.
The ugly was lockout. Everyone being locked out. Not everyone, but like those who had to deal with it. I was just ugly. Yeah, I don't have much else to say about it.
Yeah, the verification code was my ugly point of this, which says a lot about the event. It means that there really wasn't much that was really bad about it. The verification code was just terrible. EA should have done a better job. If they wanted to switch us to a verification code process instead of a password, I get it. You got to make changes. I get it. You should give some notice so that people have a chance to update their emails, because even if you try to go to EA's website to update your email, you can't do it without a verification code. So it becomes a problem. So there should have been some notice given. So that is also my ugly for this event. Let's jump to some reader comments, shall we? We always love hearing what the readers have to say. So we put up a post. We got some great feedback on this. You guys had a lot to say about this event. So Dougler11 says, I am just frustrated with the login process. I went from playing 3 Springfields to now just 1. My email changed for my 1 town since I started it, so now the code gets sent to me. Now the code that gets sent to me does not work. I get it. Essence 1919. I graded the event a B. It was nice. It was a nice short event. I like 2 out of the 5 prizes. Harsher than we are, Saf. I got the premium character and purchased the chili building. Peter Bleak says the event was a C for me. With all the different food varieties we have for Springfield, to present the worst of the worst to a culinary event is pretty bad. I would have preferred to see a parody of one of the Cooking Channel competitions. We could have had the chefs use a secret ingredient, use an elimination challenge, or throw a twist into the menu. In the end, show that regardless of what anyone says, Springfield residents do have some tasty items that counter some of the more undesirable dishes. That would have been better, I think, for like a or just a bigger event. A mini event, you're really not going to get much beyond dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely.
You might get a game like we used to get back in the quote-unquote day, but this is kind of what you get for a mini. Sandra Schill says, I wanted to rate this about a B- or a C+, but Milhouse's poem pushed my choice to a B rather than a C on your poll. I thought the dialogue in general was very good, and the first and last prizes were too. I haven't actually gotten the last prize yet, but it's a character, so that alone qualifies it as at least good with a chance of very good. But the middle prizes will probably go straight to storage at the end of the event. And for anybody curious, Sandra posted dialogue of the poem from Milhouse, and the poem says, in the shallow end of the swimming pool, my floaties gently hold each arm and leg. But the SPF 100 is not waterproof, so I burn, and so I burn.
Beautiful.
I love Milhouse. John White. Yeah, John White says, glad it's over. Well, John, over for you. We still have 2 more weeks. Led Zepp Elias says, probably one of my most favorite mini events. I love the dialogues, the buildings and characters that came with the event, and the buildings and characters that came with the event. Not a fan of the decorations, but oh well, no big deal. The premium building sure is huge, but it looks so good. Finally, a barbecue festival for my Springfield. I also love the chili blasters, and it was my first time spending real money on this game. Overall, an A- for me for this mini event. On to the next one. You know what I like? The comments on this, they're a lot friendlier than the comments from Rise of the Robots. There's some positive things being said. I feel like Rise of the Robots was all negative. So it's nice to see. CJ Brown LV says, a solid B. Thumbs up. Fun and not a long, boring multi-act where a majority of the prizes are not worth your time. I will always prefer a mini event. Why not an A? Well, let's just say the real prize is the premium character combo. The Springfield Barbecue Festival got me to actually create a new section in my Springfield versus just plop or store. It is huge, and we do need a land expansion. Both characters are great, but only one of the decor is worth it. And why give us the barbecue battle booth stage with no visual character tasks? I concur. That's just lazy. I had fun. I enjoyed this mini event. Kudos to the writers, but those doing the coding are phoning it in. I believe those having a problem with login due to not obtaining the code to sign in are going to reflect negatively on this mini event. I don't blame you, even though it's important for you to communicate directly with EA or this glitch will never get fixed. I agree, and we said this in the last episode about the booth. It reminded me of the barbershop from wrestling, where it's like you get this setup, and even though a character has a task there, it doesn't do anything. At least when we got the Robot Rumble Arena, they had the robots do a task there whenever there was a task being done.
More attractive.
They should have just take that little extra step, and even if it wasn't the characters that are on a task there doing something, they could have had some other characters doing some cooking. I don't see why that would have been that difficult. Matt says, my grade has to be incomplete. I still can't play due to the new login.
Fortunately, got a bit extra time to get everything, Matt. So
it's true. Sandra added, I forgot about the premium. I have mixed feelings about it. On one hand, it takes up a lot of land. On the other, it has some great detail. And I suppose the one plus to it being so large is that if I ever run out of land and need to free something up, I can just store one item and get a lot of land back to work with. Keith Rooney says, B, definitely need more land. And Santos L. Helper says, I give it an A. Most of the prizes were great. It's great to see 2 buildings, 2 decorations, and a character on the prize track, instead of 3 out of 5 prizes being decorations. My favorite prizes were General Chang's Taco Italiano and Scotty Boom, prize 1 and 5. My least favorite prize was the hot dog maker. Good premiums. Tyler Boom and the Springfield Barbecue Festival are a decent character building combo, and the Chili Blasters looks like a fun building. Dialogue was pretty good as usual. I liked the bit between Homer and Scotty Boom insulting each other with the Flintstones. My only complaint are that more items from Q Detective episode didn't appear, such as the Pitmaster, the Hive, the Raw Barn, and its clerk. Exit 35, appliances and attic, clothes, Simpsons costumes. At least there's potential for a sequel event or an opportunity for the items in this event to return. And last one, I thought that was the last one, but there's one more. Catherine says, only my second mini event, not been playing long, so gave it a B. Definitely the best one of the year. 2 buildings and a character, always a winner. As a new player this year, my donuts take a long time to accumulate, so it's a shame that all the premium items are well out of my reach. That will change very quickly. Starting to Quickie Mart Farm, but percent is only 63.8, in for the long haul, so taking my time. And that's it from the readers. Any thoughts on those, Saf?
No, I mean, generally pretty positive comments compared to some previous ones. So yeah, looks like people are agreeing that it was with us, that it was a pretty good event.
Yep. And so before we wrap up, let's give our final grades, and then we'll share the results of the poll. Overall grade for this, Saf?
I'm going to agree with Sandra, CJ, and Keith and give it a B. I was overall quite happy with it. The login issue and the wheel, the hot dog maker, keep it from being an A at this point, but we'll see at the year-end review if it'll go higher. But right now, it's a solid B.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I give it a solid B. I enjoyed it. I did like Springfield Choppers just a little bit more, but this one was fun. I did enjoy it. And again, we always reserve the right to change our minds when we do the year in review after we've had plenty of time to kind of review everything. But yeah, I give it a solid B. This was a good mini event. More of this, please, EA. More of this. All right, and the readers' response, I'll throw the poll up on the screen now. We had, let's see, 37%. Actually, I'll go backwards. Giving this an F. I gotta read on the so few people gave it an F that I can't read the thing right on the thing. I have to highlight over it. 3.7% gave this an F, and I have to think those 3.7% of people that gave this an F are those who suffered from the verification issues. 14.2% gave this a D. 37% gave this a C. 35.5% give this a B. And 9.6% give this an A. So I feel like with the last event, Saf, most people are giving this event a B or a C. That's where it falls. Yeah. You know, you've got over 70% of the vote just on a B or a C. So, but I think it was a good event. I think overall it was a solid event. And I think the readers agreed. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts before we wrap up?
About the event, nothing. Just a quick reminder to everyone, as they saw yesterday, the bracket battle is going again. We had the first of the 4 previews, and on June 25th, the contest will begin. So keep an eye out for that post on June 25th to enter a contest, and we'll see what season everyone feels is the best season of The Simpsons so far.
Yeah, it should be fun. It'll be a fun bracket battle. I always enjoy these. I know you guys do too. And there are a lot of work for Safi to do. So we very much appreciate him putting these on. But that's going to do it from us. So thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.